my personal story, man, is you if I can really put it into a layman term, it would be discovering myself beyond tragedy.
Wow. Wow.
I'm a two-time suicide attempt survivor. My second suicide attempt was 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I made 40 this year in April, and 40 was a big number because 10 years ago at 30, I took a drug overdose. And my godmother, who I was staying with at the time, found me underneath the bed.
Wow. Wow.
And
Wow.
when people talk about, why did you attempt? And, it's a story of just, I had major daddy issues. My parents divorced when I was 13.
Okay.
My father's a pastor.
Yeah.
I watched my father pastor people, but didn't father his children.
Ooh.
And that left a hole in me because I was the only son, and it left me with identity issues. So football became everything for me. I excelled in football, but what I got from football was community. There was this place of belonging. And I think we don't really put a lot of thought into men, or should I say boys, needing a place to feel like they belong.
Wow.
It's why a lot of boys, and particularly in the black community, they gravitate to sports.
Yeah.
Because most of us will find a dad.
And our coaches.
We'll find and our coaches.
Yeah.
We'll find the support from a male influence. We will find the validation. And that's what I was looking for, because I watched my dad tell other young boys that they were doing a good job, and he never said that to me. And that bothered me because I carried his name, and I'm named after my father, so I'm called JJ because I'm junior.
Okay.
But as I grew older, I cut off the JJ and I just go by Jay.
Jay,
And for me, man, it was this hole in my heart because I couldn't understand, how could you pour into these boys and pour into these other men and not pour into your son? I look like you.
Right. Right.
I walk like you.
Wow.
I move like you. I have your nose. I have your ears. And that always left me showing up with a question. Am I enough? And so go through college, man. I didn't get drafted. I was a free agent to the Packers in '06. Went there, didn't make it. Got sent home. Spent 2 years in Arena League and played there. And one day, man, having to walk away because of an injury and wanting to go to continue playing. And I had to have this honest conversation. And the question was, who are you now? Because for us as men, we identify ourselves by what we do.
That's true. That's true.
And when your identity is tied to what you do, and when you can no longer do what it is that you do, you're now stuck with the question with, who are you? So I didn't know who I was. I thought I was just a football player. I didn't know I had these other gifts and talents to write. And I know my father was a pastor, and so I was speaking to young people in church, so I knew I had this boldness and this courage. But bro, I always had a question, even when I dated women in my 20s. It was always performing. Did I do a good job?
Yeah.
Do you see me?
Right.
And growing up in a household full of women after my father and my mother divorced, I didn't have a voice. And so I lived in pain. I would go to practice, and practice was the best time of my life because I can escape. I could not think about the reality of not seeing anybody in the stands to support me, not having anybody to call, not having a mentor, not having any male presence. And I had 7 uncles. Not one of them reached out to me and said, nephew, I got you.
Wow.
So I was often a loner. On the field, I was this ravishing, this warrior, this beast.
Right.
And off the field, man, I was just this broken little boy. And what happened, Anthony, is one day that little boy had a conversation with the man. And he says, what are you doing? Why are you even here? And when I took the overdose, or when I OD'd, I was on the phone with both of my parents, crying.
Wait, are you serious?
And I remember my father saying, "Here we go again. This is a pastor." And my mother said, "Jay, please don't do this. Please don't do this." My mom said to me, she said, "If you do this, Jay, do you know where you're going to end up?" And I said, "Mama, at this point, I don't care. I just want to go to sleep and not wake up. Because I don't want to have to deal with this pain of trying to perform, trying to get this man attention." And because here I am at 30-some years old, I've never heard my father say he was proud of me. And I'm talking about, I got accolades, a 4-year start in college, championship rings, anything you can think about. Graduated in 4 years from college. Never heard him say he was proud of me. Never took me by the hand and looked me in my eyes and said, "Son, you've done well." I never heard that. Always heard it from white men, from coaches. But never heard that from my father. And I would even say this, it doesn't matter what level of accomplishment a man has. If he is not seen by his father, he does not feel that he has arrived. So it shows up in different ways. And for me, it always showed up in, I was very avoidant. Like, I was very dismissive. I would withdraw myself. It was nothing for me to isolate because I'm the only boy.
Right.
So it was nothing for me to get by myself. And, even if in dating, like, it was nothing for me to just shut down.
Yeah.
Because I knew that, no one really cared about how I feel.
Right.
Because my parents' divorce, it was like, take care of your sisters, make sure your mom is good, you the man of the house. And how many times do black boys hear that? And you get thrust into a role that you have no clue about. So you now carry the weight to perform for the family, which creates so many issues within yourself that everywhere you show up is based on how well you do. And if you don't do well, you now feel that my performance is going to impact everybody else.
Yeah.
So if I don't do well, because I was paying my mama bills in college.
Ooh.
I'm on scholarship.
And you providing for your mom.
I'm on scholarship, bro. I left college $22,000 in debt, and I'm on full scholarship because I was taking out loans for her. So most of my life, bro, I've only known to perform and to operate in a role that I was not supposed to be in.
Wow, Jay.
And how many times as men or boys that it start out as that, and I got to my 30, bro, I was tired.
Yeah.
I was tired.
Yeah.
And and to understand anybody, for those that are watching, to understand there's a difference in having suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideation, and a person actually attempting. It's 3 phases.
So break those down. Suicidal thoughts mean you just
So,
thought about it.
so a thought can be you think about it,
Okay.
right? Suicidal ideation will be processed through words like, "It would be nice to not wake up."
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
What would it be if I wasn't here?
Right.
You start hearing these type of statements. And the ideation is the actual process that the thoughts have now become words.
Yeah.
And so once these thoughts become words, it's the contemplating, and then it's also the creating of what this look like. Because when you're having suicidal ideation, or you in that stage, you're actually laying out like, because here's the thing. I was staying with my godmother. My godmother's white.
Okay.
So my godmother's white.
Yeah.
Cool as a fan. Love her to the moon and back.
Yeah.
I knew I didn't want to shoot myself because I would create a mess. That's suicidal ideation.
That's suicide. Oh.
So I knew the only way that I can do this quietly was pills. So I took codeine, I took Tylenol, I took Advil, I took all types of pain meds.
All at one time.
All at one time. And I knew what I was doing because I said, man, I just want to lay down and not wake up. And I would write short stories about death. I was so fascinated with death. I was so fascinated with what would it be like to live this life of pain. I mean, no pain, a pain-free life. And so I survived that, man. And I remember having this come to Jesus moment where I was sitting in my room. My godmother, I mean, it was a mess, man. And she said, Jay, how could you do this in my house?